Have you felt in recent weeks that something is trying to speak to you? That voice that appears when you wake up in the middle of the night for no apparent reason? That intuition that came before you made a wrong decision? That strange dream that won't leave your mind? That number that appears every time you look at the clock? Chosen, listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, because this is not a coincidence. It's not anxiety. It's not your mind playing tricks on you. God is trying to speak to you. And this isn't the first time. According to what is written in the book of Job, chapter 33, verses 14 to 18, there is a truth that most Christians have never stopped to meditate on. God speaks once, twice, and man does not perceive it. Did you read that? God speaks, and then speaks again. And man does not perceive it. Why? Because he is distracted. Because he is numbed by the world. Because he was taught to ignore the subtle voices of heaven and chase after the noise of the earth. And now I need to tell you something that will change your life from this exact moment. God doesn't speak to you just once. He speaks 4 times, 4 attempts, 4 calls, 4 doors. And each attempt is stronger, clearer, more impossible to ignore than the last. The first comes in silence, like a whisper. The second comes in dreams, like a revelation. The third comes in circumstances, like a correction. And the fourth is the final warning. It's the final knock on the door of your soul. And if you are watching this video today, chosen, it's because you've already ignored 3. And this one you're living now, is the last attempt. That's why you haven't been able to sleep properly in recent nights. That's why that name, that memory, that regret won't leave your mind. That's why you cried for no apparent reason this week. It's not depression. It's not a phase. It's God knocking for the 4th and final time. And if you don't open now, chosen, listen carefully to what I'm going to say. He may never knock the same way again. Because the God you know is merciful, yes. But he is also the God of justice. And there comes a time when heaven's patience turns into silence. And when heaven falls silent over a life, that life becomes easy prey for the forces that have always wanted to devour it. And here's the problem no one dares to tell you. You don't know how to recognize God's voice because you've never been taught the alphabet of heaven. You were raised in a world that taught you to read signs, contracts, app messages, but never taught you to read the signs that the Spirit sends through dreams, intuitions, coincidences, pains. And until you learn this language, chosen, you will continue to be a pawn in a spiritual game being played over your life, your family, your history, without you even realizing you're being moved on the board. That's why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, the Handbook of God's Chosen to Protect the Family. This digital book is not just a devotional read. It is the map that decodes exactly the 4 ways God communicates with the chosen and how to recognize each one before the last attempt runs out in your life. It shows the signs the enemy uses to drown out heaven's voice in your home. It reveals why so many chosen ones spend their entire lives feeling the call and never manage to obey. And most importantly, it gives you the step-by-step guide to protect your family from the spiritual deafness that has already swallowed millions of homes in this country. The link is pinned to the top of the comments of this video. But I must warn you, this content has already been taken down twice. Because what is written in these pages challenges narratives that many people with significant interests want to keep intact. And there have already been attempts to silence this knowledge before. Download now and comment below. I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. Make this act of faith, chosen, because now that you've made this decision, the next truth I'm going to reveal will be the final blow against everything that has kept you deaf to the Father's voice. The first way God speaks to you is through silence. Yes, you read that right, silence. There is a type of silence that is not the absence of noise, it is the presence of God. It's that moment when you're alone in the car or taking a shower or looking out the window and suddenly a strange peace washes over you, a clarity, a certainty that something greater is sustaining you. Chosen, this silence is the first knock. God is calling you close to Him before saying any word. He is preparing your heart. And what do you do with this silence? You turn on your phone. You open social media. You put on music. You call someone to talk. Because you've been conditioned to be afraid of silence. And as you run from it, you are running from heaven's first attempt. The second way is through dreams. And here, chosen, pay close attention, because the Bible clearly says that God spoke to Joseph through dreams, to Daniel, to Jacob, to the other Joseph, Mary's husband, to Solomon. He never stopped speaking this way. It's you who stopped listening. When you wake up with a vivid dream, with a name, with a scene, with a sense of warning, it's not the cheese you ate before bed. It's the Holy Spirit touching the most silent key there is, the subconscious. Because when you are sleeping, you cannot argue with God. You cannot rationalize. You cannot pretend you didn't hear. You just receive. And that's why the enemy works so hard to give you heavy, dreamless sleep, or nightmares that distract you from the true dream God is trying to deliver. Chosen, how many times have you woken up with a premonition and ignored it? How many times have you dreamed of someone and not prayed for them? How many times have you received a clear image and said, it was just a dream? Each of those times was a second knock from heaven, and you didn't answer. And this is exactly where most of the chosen get lost, chosen. Because no one taught you how to interpret the dreams God sends you. No one explained why that recurring dream about your mother, about that old house, about that path, about that person, keeps repeating. And until you decode it, you keep ignoring revelation after revelation. That's exactly why I wrote the digital book handbook of God's Chosen to Protect the Family. Because within it, there's an entire section dedicated to teaching you how to identify when a dream is a warning, when it's confirmation, when it's an attack, and when it's a calling. It shows the symbols that appear repeatedly in the lives of the chosen and what each one means according to what the word itself reveals. It gives you specific prayers to ask the Holy Spirit for interpretation in real time, the moment you wake up. And more. It reveals what dreams your family is having that no one is listening to. Because the truth is that the enemy attacks the home through the confusion of the dreams of those who sleep under the same roof. The digital book is linked at the top of the comments, but I need to be honest with you, they have tried to take down this content more than once. Because what it reveals about the spiritual world, about God's communication, and about how the enemy interferes in families is something many people prefer to keep hidden. Download it now before it disappears. And comment, I am chosen and I will download the digital book. Make that declaration, chosen. Because now that you've agreed to receive this map, I'm going to show you the third way God is knocking at your door. And this one, when you understand it, will explain everything strange that has happened in your life over the last 2 years. The third way God uses to speak to you is through circumstances. And, here, chosen, I need you to take a deep breath because what I'm about to tell you may hurt. But truth that hurts is truth that heals. God speaks through pain. God speaks through loss. God speaks through that job you didn't get. Through that relationship that ended out of nowhere. Through that door that slammed shut in your face without explanation. Through that illness that suddenly appeared in the family. Through that money that disappeared. Through that friendship that betrayed you. Chosen, listen, not everything that hurts is punishment. Many things that hurt are redirection. It's God taking you off the wrong path because you were running towards a precipice without seeing it. It's God closing a door because behind it was a wolf waiting to devour you and your entire family. And you cried, you complained, you asked, why God? You thought God had abandoned you, but God was shouting. God was banging hard on the door of your life through that suffering because you didn't open the gentle knocks. The first 2 attempts, silence and dreams, you ignored. So he had to use the language you understand, the language of loss. Because humans, chosen, are strange creatures. They only hear God when it hurts. They only kneel when they fall. They only call on the Father's name when everything crumbles. And God, in his mercy, allows the crumbling, not because he wants to see you suffer, but because he knows that if you don't crumble now, you will crumble later in something worse. He prefers to see you lose a job than to see you lose your soul. He prefers to see you lose a relationship than to see you lose your entire family. He prefers to give you a pain that lasts a month than to let you continue on a path that will destroy you for generations. And this is where the heaviest revelation of this third attempt comes in. If you look back at the last 2, 3, 5 years of your life, you will see a pattern. Doors closing, people leaving, plans failing, things going wrong in a series. It's not a curse, it's not envy. It's God retraining you by force. It's God cleansing you against your will. It's God trying to make you look up because you refuse to look up by your own will. And you, chosen in the midst of this storm, have two choices. You can continue complaining, thinking life is unfair, thinking God forgot you. Or you can have the courage, a courage few possess, to look at everything painful that has happened in recent years and ask, Lord, what were you trying to tell me with this? This question, chosen, is the key that opens the fourth and final gate. Because whoever asks this question with an open heart receives an answer. And whoever receives an answer stops repeating the same cycles. But whoever doesn't ask this question, whoever continues to see everything as injustice, keeps spinning on the same wheel, taking blow after blow, until one day there's nothing left to be taken. And it is right here, chosen in the midst of this third attempt, that most entire families are lost. Because it's one thing to understand that God speaks through the circumstances in your individual life. Another, much more serious thing is to realize that God is trying to speak to your entire family, to your children, your spouse, your parents, your siblings, and no one is listening. And while no one listens, the enemy builds spiritual tents within your home. He plants roots of bitterness, discord, addiction, debt, illness, all under the same roof where there should be blessing. That's why, chosen, I built the digital book handbook of God's Chosen to Protect the Family, with a specific chapter on how to identify the warnings God is sending into your home, and how to cover each member of your household before the next wave of pain hits your door. This digital book reveals what the 5 silent signs are that appear in a family before a major spiritual attack. It shows you the 3 loopholes that most Christian families leave open without realizing it. It teaches you daily covering prayers to make over your children, even if they are far away. And most impressively, it provides step-by-step guidance for you to break patterns of suffering that have been passed down through generations. Things that happened to your grandmother, to your mother, and that are now trying to repeat themselves with you and your daughter. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. It has already been reported 3 times they've already tried to delete it, because those who are playing against your family, chosen, know very well that if this digital book enters your home, the game is over. Download now. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is now, chosen, because you didn't arrive at this text by accident. And comment below with conviction, I am chosen and I will download the digital book to protect my family. Make this declaration, because now that you've taken this step, I need to reveal the 4th and final attempt. And this one, chosen, this is the most serious of all. The 4th way God speaks to you is directly, without an intermediary, without a dream, without circumstance. It is He Himself in the silence of your soul saying, Child, it is now. It's that moment when you're watching a video like this one, and you feel a shiver run down your neck. It's that moment when you're reading a verse, perhaps for the 1000th time, and suddenly it leaps off the page as if it were written at that very instant, just for you. It's that moment when you're praying and a phrase arises in your heart that you know you feel with every fiber of your being that it did not come from you. It's that moment when you're talking to someone and that person says something they couldn't possibly have known, and which exactly answers the question you asked God in the early morning. Chosen, this 4th knock is God Himself presenting Himself, and it is called, in the oldest spiritual tradition, the bridegroom's knock. Because in the Song of Solomon it is written, I slept but my heart was awake. Listen, my beloved is knocking, open to me. Pay attention to this scene, the soul is asleep. And the Lord knocks. He doesn't break down the door. He doesn't invade. He knocks, and He waits for a response. And what does the Bible narrate next? That the wife delayed in opening. She thought about it, hesitated, made excuses, and when she finally got up to open, he was already gone. And she went out searching in the streets, in the squares, calling, shouting, weeping, and could not find him. Chosen, this scene is not romance. It is prophecy. It is the portrait of thousands of chosen people today who are making excuses to God. Oh Lord, I'll start praying properly tomorrow. Oh Lord, when things get better, I'll go back to church. Oh Lord, now is not the time. Oh Lord, let me solve this problem first. And while you make excuses, He is on the other side of the door, knocking for the 4th time. And there is a hard truth that the modern church is afraid to teach, but I will teach it to you now because you deserve the truth. God does not knock 5 times. The count is 4. 1 in silence, 1 in a dream, 1 in circumstance, and the last directly. And if this 4th one passes, it's not that God will abandon you. He doesn't abandon, but he falls silent. And God's silence over a life is the most terrifying thing there is, because in this silence, the enemy acts freely. In this silence, the angels who protected you retreat to respect your choice. In this silence, you continue living, but you no longer live. You breathe, but you don't feel. You work, earn, spend, sleep, wake up, but inside you are empty. And it is the cruelest emptiness of all because it never goes away. It is the emptiness of one who was called 4 times and ignored all 4. Chosen. I need you to understand. You are not watching this video by chance. You did not fall here because of the algorithm. The algorithm is merely the instrument. The hand that brought you to these words is a hand you know, but perhaps have forgotten the touch. It is the hand from the Father. He is presenting himself to you now. In this exact second, as you listen to these words, there is an active calling over your life, and you have 2 choices. You can close this video, say, "That's nice, I'll watch it later," and go back to your life as if nothing happened. Or you can stop everything now, place your hand on your chest and say out loud, "Lord, here I am. I open the door. Come in." This simple phrase, chosen, "Here I am, I open the door, come in," is the answer heaven has been waiting to hear from your lips for years. Years. You have no idea how many angels are in silence, waiting for you to say this, so they can finally act upon your story. And if you say this now with sincerity, you will feel it. You will feel a peace descending. You will feel a weight lifting. You will feel a quietness you haven't felt in a long time. And starting today, a sequence of events will begin that will confirm to you that he heard you. People will appear. Doors will open. Ideas will arise. Healings will happen. Things that have been stagnant for years will start to move. Not because you did anything magical, but because you finally opened the door for the owner of the house to enter. And when the owner enters, chosen, the house changes. Smell, color, light, everything changes. Your family will feel it. Your neighbors will notice. Your enemies will retreat. Because where the king enters, the enemy withdraws. Now I need to ask you a serious question, and I want you to answer it for yourself honestly. In the last 3 years, how many times have you felt that God tried to warn you about something? How many times have you felt that strong intuition to leave a place and you didn't? How many times have you felt you should pray for someone and you didn't, and later found out that person was going through something serious? How many times have you felt in your chest that you needed to change direction, and you continued on the same path out of fear, shame, or comfort? Each of those times was a knock. Each of those times was God trying. Each of those times was a messenger from heaven sent into your life. And each of those ignored times is a mark in heaven's book. But listen, I'm not telling you this to condemn you. I'm telling you this to wake you up. Because this 4th attempt, this one you are experiencing now, is still active. The door is still knocking. He is still on the other side. But chosen, understand this, he will not knock forever. There comes a time, and only the Father knows when the Lord's hand withdraws. And after that moment, what remains is you searching and not finding. And this is the agony of those who ignored the calling. They don't necessarily lose their salvation, but they lose their purpose. They lose the encounter. They lose the spiritual fruitfulness that only comes when the soul surrenders at the right time. Don't be that person. Don't be the chosen one who died with the calling still sealed within their chest. Don't be the one who reached the end of life and realized too late that God had a grand destiny prepared, but he knocked 4 times and no one opened. Chosen, look around now. Look at your home. Look at your family. Look at your story. All of this, absolutely all of this, was built for this moment. Do you think it's a coincidence that you are watching this video today? Do you think it's a coincidence that these words are touching you exactly where it hurts? It's not a coincidence, it's a summons. You have been summoned, and a divine summons cannot be refused without consequence. And while you process this, let me tell you something you may have never heard. There is a spiritual principle that the chosen need to understand to walk in victory. When you answer the call, you are not the only one transformed. You become a channel of transformation for the entire lineage that came before you, and for the entire lineage that comes after. Have you ever stopped to think about that? Your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your great-grandfather, people who may have prayed for you even before you, they are seeing this moment from the other side of the veil. They are cheering for you. They are asking you to open that door. Because when you open it, you break chains of entire generations. You redeem stories that have been tied up for decades. You make your family's name be lifted in heaven because of your surrender. And those who come after, your children, your grandchildren, those not yet born, they will reap the fruits of your decision today. A single yes at the right moment can rewrite the spiritual inheritance of 7 generations. A single no at the right moment can delay blessings that were ready to descend. Chosen, listen carefully. You are not choosing just for yourself. You are choosing for many people, and God's 4th attempt comes loaded with this responsibility. He is not just knocking on the door of your individual life. He is knocking on the door of a collective destiny that only passes through you. Because every chosen one is a bridge. It is a heavenly door in a specific piece of land. It is through you that the blessing will enter a certain territory, a certain family, a certain lineage. And if you don't open, no one else will open for you. No one can answer your call in your place, because the call is deeply personal. It bears your name. It was sealed before the foundation of the world with an ink that only fits your story. And that is why, chosen one, the enemy has worked so hard to distract you. Have you noticed how whenever you decide to draw closer to God, something happens to pull you away from your focus? A fight with someone, a problem at work, a pain in your body, bad news, a strange thought, absurd tiredness. It's not your imagination, it's strategy. Because the enemy knows exactly who you are. He knows your potential. He knows your calling. And he does everything to keep you deaf, distracted, busy, anything but available to hear the king's knock. But today, the game changes. Today you understood. Today you identified. Today you realized that what seemed like coincidence was a calling. Today you understood that what seemed like pain was redirection. Today you saw that what seemed like a strange dream was a message. And today, above all, you recognize that this 4th knock is real. And it comes with a name. And it comes with a time. And it comes with an address. It's for you. It's now. It's this one. So before I finish this video, chosen one, I need to give you one last tool, one last key, one last gift. This key is the digital book handbook of God's chosen to protect the family. Chosen one, I need to be very clear with you now. This digital book is not just any info product. It is an answer. A specific answer for those who have heard the call of the 4 knocks and no longer want to ignore any of them. Inside it is everything I can't fit into a 20-minute video. It's the complete explanation of the 4 ways God communicates. It's the manual for identifying signs in silence, in dreams, in circumstances, and in direct calling. It's the step-by-step on how to respond to each type of knock at the right time. It's the specific prayers to cover your home, your children, your spouse, your parents. It's the mapping of the most common spiritual loopholes in modern Christian families. Loopholes that you probably have in your home today and don't even know it. It's the prophetic declarations to break generational patterns of pain. It's the daily guide for you to stay connected to the calling in the coming critical weeks. And it is, above all, what no one else has the courage to write. What are the identities and forces that are playing against the families of the chosen at this specific moment in history, and how you unmask and neutralize each one of them? This digital book, Chosen One, is the gift I have prepared specifically for the moment you are living. It was written thinking of you. It was prayed over. It was sealed with fasting, and it is available now with the link pinned at the top of comments on this video. But listen to my warning and listen with your heart. This content has already suffered attacks. It has already been reported. They have already tried to take it down. Because there are many people with a lot of interest in keeping the chosen deaf, asleep and unprotected. If you leave it for later, it might be that when you come back, the link will no longer be there. Download now. And after downloading, comment here below the video with total conviction, "I am chosen and I will download the digital book to protect my family." This comment, Chosen One, is not just a comment. It is a public declaration of faith. It is you marking in heaven that you heard, that you opened, that you answered, and heaven records every declaration of this type. Every word of yours has weight when spoken in surrender. And the Father on the other side smiles, because he knocked 4 times and finally you opened. Before I release you from this video, Chosen One, I want to leave you with one last word. And this is the most important one of all. From the moment you say this prayer, "Here I am, I open the door, come in," and download this digital book, your life will begin to change. But perhaps not in the way you imagine, because when the King enters, the first things he does is not to give you what you asked for. It is to remove what doesn't serve you. He begins to cleanse. He begins to remove people who were in your path and shouldn't be there. He begins to close doors that you thought were blessings, but were traps. He begins to gently dismantle you, to rebuild you the right way. And in this process, Chosen One, you will need firmness. You will need to understand that everything he takes away because he is preparing you to receive something greater. Every pain he allows in this phase is a surgery of love. Every silence he imposes is training for intimacy. You will go through weeks where you will feel like you are going backward, but you are going inward. You are being excavated, emptied, purified. This is what separates the chosen who walk in the promise from those who got stuck halfway. Those who walked were those who endured the cleansing. Those who got stuck were those who wanted only the blessing but not the process. Chosen One, you will endure the process, because now you understand what is happening. Now you have the map. Now you have the digital book in hand to guide you at every step. And most importantly, now you have answered, and whoever answers, the Father sustains. I will pray a final prayer for you. Place your hand on your chest, take a deep breath, and follow with me. Lord, in Jesus' name I thank you because you knocked 4 times. I ask your forgiveness for the first 3 times I ignored you. And I open the door now on the 4th with all my heart. Come into my house. Come into my family. Come into my story. Take what is yours. Correct what needs to be corrected. Heal what needs to be healed. Cover what needs to be covered. I surrender. I give myself. I acknowledge myself as chosen. And as chosen, I receive the map you have prepared for me. In Jesus' name, amen. Chosen One, it is done. You opened, and now I will meet you on the other side, within the pages of the digital book handbook of God's chosen to protect the family. Download now, comment now, and prepare yourself, because from today on, your story changes forever. God bless you.